Nobody chasing the truth.
The Bills-Steelers game went just like I predicted it, that Josh Allen would be the difference maker, and he was. He's an elite quarterback. He was 21 for 30 for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns. He added 74 yards total on the ground. He had a 52-yard touchdown run. That's the longest in Bills team history in the postseason for any player. He's absolutely sensational. He made play after play tonight when the Bills needed him to make it. Dalton Kincaid, the Bills tight end, was his favorite target. He had 3 catches for 59 yards and a touchdown. James Cook led the Bills in rushing. He had 18 attempts for 79 yards and averaged 4.4 yards a carry. Greg Russo, he led the Bills defense with a sack. You also had Dawson Knox contribute with a receiving TD, and so did Khalil Shakur. You know, Josh Allen is an elite talent. First of all, the man is huge. He's like an offensive tackle. He has a rocket for an arm. He can run the football. He's physical. You know, he reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger, but he moves better than Ben as far as when he runs downfield. He is just an absolute nightmare. It was great quarterback play by him, and he was the difference maker. It really hurt the Steelers that TJ Watt didn't play, but the Steelers still managed to get 2 sacks and get some pressure tonight. But anytime you don't have TJ Watt in the game, your team is definitely not the same. So the Pittsburgh Steelers fought hard. They played hard. Again, the TJ Watt not playing really hurt the Steelers. Mason Rudolph was 22 for 39 for 229 yards and 2 TDs and 1 pick in the end zone. You know, the pick in the end zone towards the end of the half was a real momentum killer. But Mason Rudolph in general, you know, he didn't play that bad in all. He wasn't terrible. You know, the Steelers, they couldn't really get the rushing game going. They needed to run the football, and they couldn't get it going. Deontay Johnson for the Steelers had 4 catches, 48 yards, and a touchdown. George Pickens had 5 receptions for 50 yards. And Mason Rudolph's favorite target was Pat Freiermuth. He led the team in receiving with 5 catches and 76 yards. Calvin Austin also chipped in with a touchdown catch. And leading the way for the Steelers' defense was Alex Highsmith and Marcus Golden. They each had a sack apiece. The final score was Bills 31, Steelers 17. You know, this game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. You know, again, the Steelers didn't play bad. I just thought that Josh Allen is an elite talent. And in today's, NFL quarterback-driven world, you have to have an elite quarterback at that position. You know, all the teams that advanced, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, he went crazy today. I'm happy for him. I feel he gets a lot of unwarranted criticism because he likes to play with passion and enthusiasm. People telling him to tone it down. I don't get it. I really don't get people these days. Always has to, just come up and say something stupid or negative about somebody. Why would you want to tone down Baker Mayfield's competitive, juices or vibe or, they call it swagger? When your quarterback plays like that, it ignites the whole team. He had an excellent game today, and next week we're going to find out how good Lamar Jackson is, and Lamar Jackson's going to have to bring his A game to win his game, and so is Brock Purdy, because only the best quarterbacks advance to the Super Bowl. Year in and year out in a passing league like the NFL, if you notice, it's the quarterbacks who are playing at an elite level are the ones that win the Super Bowl. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers dominated the Eagles tonight from start to finish. Baker Mayfield played the best game of his career so far. He's playing the best football that he's ever played. I'm really happy for him. He's turning it around. I didn't feel like he got a fair shake in Cleveland, so let's get into his stats. He was 22 for 36 for 307 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. David Moore had 2 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown for the Bucs. Trey Palmer caught a 56-yard bomb for a touchdown, and Chris Godwin also contributed with 4 catches for 45 yards and a TD. Leading the way for the Buccaneers defense was Greg Gaines. He had a sack. So did Joe Tryon Shoniko. He led the Bucs defense also with a sack. They pressured Jalen Hurts all night long. It just seemed like the Eagles' defense and offense had no rhythm. Like they just seemed clueless out there. Like they had no objective. It just seemed like guys were just running around on both sides of the ball like they were lost. I mean, that's putting it mildly and simply. Jalen Hurts, again, he was under pressure all night long. He was 25 for 35 for 250 yards and a touchdown. Wasn't bad numbers, but they just couldn't get momentum going at the right time. DeAndre Swift really didn't have a good night. He had 34 total yards rushing. The big receiver for the night for the Eagles, the big play guy, was Devonta Smith. He had 8 catches for 148 yards. Dallas Goedert, the Philadelphia Eagles tight end, had 4 catches for 21 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad night. The Eagles defense sacked Baker Mayfield twice, but they gave up big play after big play, and they just, they were terrible on the offensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball had no rhythm. On the defensive side of the ball, missed tackle after missed tackle. It was just bad for the Eagles. I mean, you lost your last 7 games in a row after winning the first 10 or 11 games. The Eagles tonight were like 1-11 or 1-13 on third down. You can never win a football game when you're that bad on third down. So, I know the owner of the Eagles, he doesn't have a lot of patience with the coaching staff, Jalen Hurts, though. But they played poorly tonight, and it showed. I'm really happy for Baker Mayfield that he beat the Eagles, and he's turning his career around. It's going to be interesting to see what he does as he goes deeper into the playoffs. The final score of the game was 32 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and for the Philadelphia Eagles, 9.